Hi friends, Chris Kelly here. Hey, another video for another week. So thought I'd better get this out before the week got over. Anyway, just wanted to have a look at a couple of things this week. Obviously, our the graphics showing the weekly market stats, what's gone on this week versus this time last year, so on and so forth. And the other graphic I'm going to have available for you to look at, and we'll talk a little bit about here, is interest rates and what they've done historically. In other words, what they've done over, the past, 40 years, 50 years, 45 years. So it's pretty informative and instructive. And again, offers a perspective. I had put a post out about perspective a few days ago, and I just thought it was appropriate to maybe have a little conversation about perspective, specifically in the real estate space. So first of all, stats. Nothing terribly dramatic. I mean, this year is largely starting out like the beginning of 2020 did pre-pandemic. Came into the year strong. New listing inventory is almost identical, and sold listings are very similar as well. So pending sale, all of it is extremely similar. So, the median sales price has been kind of bouncing around between the low fives and the mid fives. This week it was down to 505. On a 566 average, where we've seen the average up into the low half of the sixes just this last month. So, but that's, again, I don't really get too concerned or really give it too much consideration unless we see a consistent trend over a decent period of weeks. So, what we saw is that peak in pricing happen, and we've actually seen it, the median anyway, come down a little bit. So, and again, mind you, this is the whole Tri-County Portland metro area. So it is excluding Clark County, but it's the whole Tri-County Portland metro area. So anyway, like I said, nothing terribly dramatic, nothing terribly, we still have just ridiculously anemic low inventory levels. Is that going to go up some? Yeah, I think so. I don't think it's going to shoot up like all of a sudden we're going to have all this choice in the marketplace, because frankly, it's getting absorbed still at a fast clip. That's why I wanted to segue into and talk a little bit about mortgage rates, because that, as I've said before, could be the thing that keeps that lets inventory sit a little bit longer. If all of a sudden days on the market goes from 13 to 30, well, that gives inventory enough time to sit there and accumulate. Maybe some more actually breaks loose because maybe people see that, hey, I actually can buy something if I sell my house. That's a pretty common thing in our world. Lots of folks that are saying, we'd sell, but we don't have anything to buy, and we're just not comfortable, so we're not going to sell. And which, it's just like I've said before, it's kind of a self-perpetuating problem. At any rate, that's kind of the deal there. Mortgage rates. We all know this, but you can see on this graph very clearly when mortgage rates got out of hand, and there was some pretty, some might say draconian measures to get that under control, but it also drove us into a recession. That's back in the 80s. But you can see over time what interest rates have actually done. For the most part, consistently, they have kept going down and down and down. And that has allowed, that's not the only thing that it's allowed this pricing to go up, but it's certainly a giant contributing factor to allowing pricing to go up. If you can buy money or borrow money rather at 2.5%, you can afford a lot of home. Well, that allows the home prices to go up. So you're starting to see pricing creep back up, interest rate pricing creep back up just a little bit. Everybody that I listen to, everybody that people I trust listen to, consistently seem to say we're going to see a little bit of bump in interest rate over the course of this calendar year. Does it happen? Do we get more than half or 3/4 of a point interest rate adjust? Maybe. Mind you, though, it's one thing to say, well, in the scheme of things, it's not that big a deal. But on the other hand, I just was with some friends today looking at their home, talking about when to list their home and, who's going to buy their home. And, they're at the kind of the top of a price range where interest rate is still an influence for most buyers. So, somebody that qualifies and can make a payment at 3% may not be able to make that payment or qualify or at least be comfortable at 4%. Doesn't sound like a big deal. It is. So, I mean, it's 20%, 25%. So when you put it in that perspective. So anyway, that's the thing to be mindful of. Not should I sell my house in the spring or the summer versus the winter. I mean, the historic seasonality of things, that's not the driver. Keep an eye on interest rates. Keep an eye on what's going on there. All that said, it makes sense to be on the market sooner rather than later. I mean, that's really the long and short of it. So anyway, I think I've rambled long enough for this week. As always, we are here for you and yours. If there's anything going on that you have questions about, I just want you to know that I'm here and that my team are here, and we're happy to help however we can. Okay? So please feel free and reach out. And until the next time.